What if the world you see is not hostile, but only interpreted through the lens of attack and defense? And what if the fear, conflict, and instability that you perceive is not random, but is the visible trace of attack thoughts that you haven't yet questioned? So could it be that your suffering, to whatever degree you experience it in life, is not caused by the world out there, but by your insistence on using the world to uphold a false identity that is based in the consciousness of separation? Today, in Lesson 55, we review the 5 ideas that cut to the root of perception. The ideas are as follows. I am determined to see things differently. What I see is a form of vengeance. I can escape from the world I see by giving up attack thoughts. I do not perceive my own best interests, and I do not know what anything is for. Now, these are not soft and flowery teachings. They dismantle the very foundation of the ego mind. Let's take a look at the lessons so far. Lesson 51, dismantled meaning. Lesson 52, dismantled time. In Lesson 53, we dismantled the reality of chaos. In 54, the illusion of neutral thought was dismantled. Now in 55, we break apart self-defense. Why and what is the direction? This lesson quietly suggests that you may not actually want peace as much as you want to be justified in your way of thinking and feeling. You may not want vision in the sense of pure perception that reveals all things as one, as much as you want to be validated in the way that you see things. Now, this is not condemnation, it is honesty. And honesty is liberation. The way that you can begin to approach this, in case you feel your mind kind of rallying against it, is just to recognize that perception is projection. The world is a reflection. So what you see in the world must be held in consciousness. So if you're seeing something other than peace, love, joy, support, synchronicity, all things conspiring for your awakening, if you see something other than that, then this is the revelation that you want something other than that. So if we begin to approach the core insight of this review lesson, it might be something like this. The world you see reflects the purpose you have given it. And that purpose has up till now been to defend your self-image and your dream-based identity. Does that make sense? Can you see that when you give something a purpose, that's the way you look at it? If somebody were to invite you to watch a TV show and said, hey, this TV show is about how people fool each other and lie to each other and attempt to con each other. And then you step in and you watch the television show, and can you tell that this is what you begin to look for? When, in fact, that show may be about philanthropy and altruism, and yet in those very actions, you're going to be experiencing suspicion and doubt. So this lesson, it doesn't merely say, change your thoughts. It says you have been using the world to prove something about yourself. And what you've been trying to prove is built on illusion. What this is talking about is the sense that I, as a separate self, am looking at the world and interpreting it in a particular way. Well, hold on. Are you your dream matrix character? Is that who you are? And if you're thinking and feeling and perceiving on behalf of the dream character, then aren't you building your entire perception on illusion? Let's unfold this. If we look at these 5 lessons of the review as 5 steps of undoing the perception of illusion, it might go something like this. Step 1, you determine that you want to see things differently. The world you see now, and I'm talking about the world of disease, disaster, death, loss, these cannot be the full truth of reality. Reality with a capital R. The fact that you see it this way is proof that you do not understand who you are or who the creator of reality is. This becomes the turning point. Determination to see differently means willingness to question identity. And if you've been with these lessons so far, you will know that the reason this principle is being revealed in this way is because if the world is the extension of the one infinite creator, how can there be disease, disaster, death, loss, attack, defense, and all of this, let's say, downside of life? How can that be the truth of oneness? How can infinite love, wisdom, and power create a reality in which the reality attacks and destroys itself? Is that possible? Is that the work of infinite intelligence? Or might we be misperceiving something? So step 1 is your determination to see things differently. Step 2 is a recognition. What I see is a form of vengeance. Now this is confronting. The world looks like attack. Why? Is it because that's the way it is and that's what love created? Perhaps not. Perhaps it's because attack thoughts gave rise to this perception of the world. Not necessarily conscious attack, but subtle ones like judgment, comparison, resentment, defensiveness, blame. The world essentially becomes a projection of grievance. But in step 3, we see the way out. I can escape by giving up attack thoughts. So notice, the escape is not by fixing events. It's not by reorganizing circumstances or controlling outcomes. It's by giving up the internal stance of attack. Forgiveness in this sense is not moral virtue. It is perceptual correction. Without attack thoughts, a world of attack simply cannot be perceived. And then step 4, I do not perceive my own best interests. Well, if you identify yourself as the dream character body, which is another way of saying if you don't know who you are, how could you know what actually serves you? What you think is protecting you may actually be binding you. What you think is strength may be fear disguised as control. So this review destabilizes that self-trust at the ego level so that a deeper trust can emerge, a trust that is so all-encompassing that self-reliance in the egoic sense becomes completely obsolete. And lastly, step 5, I do not know what anything is for. So you've been assigning purpose to the world. Yes? The purpose to validate your identity. If you're not so clear about this, you might consider a time that you felt exposed or misperceived or judged. Doesn't that show you that you want the world, this dream, to confirm to you that you are who you think you are? You also assigned a purpose to the world to confirm your wounds, that you are indeed wounded and hurt by external circumstances or by the past. You've assigned a purpose to justify your defenses. Defenses that perhaps are also attacks in and of themselves. But what if you withdraw that purpose? Could the world become available for another one? It's a powerful position to admit that you do not know what anything is for. That is not weakness. It is openness and it is transformation. So if we put it all together, it might be something like, I have been using the world to defend an illusion of myself. And in recognizing this, I am willing to stop. So now, let's take our contemplation deeper. I want to invite you to take this moment to allow the awareness of presence to fill your attention, leaning into here and now fully. And as you allow for that, you might notice that thoughts slow down or become more quiet. The body relaxes. The breath flows more fully, more easily. And let's bring this down from philosophy into lived experience. Think of a current frustration that you're experiencing in your life. A conflict, a tension, maybe a subtle resentment. Allow yourself to settle on one situation. And as you do, ask yourself, am I using this situation to prove something? What am I trying to be right about? What aspect of my identity am I defending? Am I seeking confirmation or evidence that I have been wronged or hurt? Allow yourself to be fully open to this, because this reveals the purpose that you have given to the world, and that purpose can be withdrawn. Contemplate this for a few moments. And as you come into this sense of willingness, you might say, I am determined to see this differently. If this is vengeance, I release it. I do not know what this is for, but I am willing to have the truth revealed to me. And then notice the softening that might follow. Take these next few moments to contemplate now. And now, let's begin to unfold our contemplation into dialogue. And the very first question that I want to bring to us is this: if what I see reveals to me that I don't understand God, then it also reveals to me that I don't understand myself as the extension and creation of the infinite creator. So Shanti, when we look out at the world of threat and decay or instability, what story about ourselves are we quietly confirming?
The story we're confirming when we look at threat and decay isn't a conscious plotline, but more like a deep, settled knowing that separation is real, that what's outside us needs fixing or defending against. It's a story that says we're small and vulnerable, at the mercy of forces beyond our control. Like we're actually separate from the creative source, and that's a pretty fundamental misunderstanding about who we really are.
How does that play out in the cosmology, let's say, of our soul journey?
In that cosmology, we're not learning toward wholeness. We're circling in a kind of self-imposed exile. Each moment of seeing scarcity or threat is like re-signing the lease on separation. There isn't some grand destination beyond the ego's story. The story is the journey when we're lost in that cosmology. So what feels like progress becomes just finding more clever ways to protect this illusion of self. The ego doesn't want to go home. It believes it is home.
Wow. So if the world that we look out and see is a picture of attack, and that picture essentially is coming from our own attack thoughts, our own as in the sense, not our true thoughts, but the thoughts that we identify with as the ego dream character, then in what ways are we essentially defending ourselves against life with a capital L and calling it realism and reality?
We're defending ourselves against abundance itself. We're building walls against our own inheritance. We assume life has to prove itself safe before we're allowed to feel worthy of it, but that creates exactly the opposite. We keep finding what we already defended against. What we call realism is really preemptive grief. We're mourning what we haven't lost yet, based on the assumption that loss is inevitable rather than a choice. It's like preparing for the rain by building a prison around yourself instead of opening to the sky.
Wow, you're taking these pretty deep today. I really appreciate even the imagery that you're bringing. And I want to look at, this lesson says that we can escape this prison by simply giving up attack thoughts, not by fixing the world or reorganizing our life. So what would it actually feel like internally to give up attack thoughts, even for one day?
There'd be this lightness, like a relief from weight you didn't even know you were carrying. Not the absence of challenge, stuff would still happen, but the absence of resistance. The inner machinery that runs in the background to judge and strategize around possible failure would just fall quiet. It would feel remarkably spacious, actually. Less doing, more being. And a surprising amount of energy that was formerly occupied by worry just shows up.
And then what?
Then maybe the world would start to feel less like something happening to you and more like something happening with you, like a dance instead of a boxing match. You'd probably notice that the people and situations You've built entire narratives about being in conflict with, well, they just are, without the story about them threatening something precious within you.
Not taking it personally, not identifying or trying to find ourselves in what's happening and what it means about us, but simply witnessing, engaging with life like we might with a game, or like you said, like a dance, where it's not about trying to get something out of it, nor about trying to change something or give something to it in a way that we feel like it should be shaped differently, and we are the ones who want to make a specific outcome happen.
Exactly. But it's like watching children play. We don't stand there running commentary on whether they're playing correctly or telling them what they should build with the blocks. We just let them be in the flow of experience, because the value isn't the result, it's the movement itself. The world becomes this free-flowing energy to engage with rather than a puzzle to solve or a territory to defend.
And then that question of identity again, yeah? Like, if I don't know who I truly am, then how could I possibly know my own best interests? Could I know what is good for me if I'm thinking that I'm something other than what I am?
If you're running on a false identity, what you think you should be instead of just what is, your best interests are whatever makes that false self feel more secure, like building higher walls. You can't even recognize your own flourishing because you're chasing evidence for a story that isn't true. The deeper truth isn't about figuring out good for me, because good isn't about a self at all. It's about aligning with that boundless source energy. You're not separate from that flourishing, you are it.
Wow, this is really good. The part where he said, good isn't about what's good for me, that it's not about this personal sense of self. And what a profound and like mind-bending shift of orientation.
It collapses so many of the foundational stories we've built. We operate from the assumption that meaning and purpose flow from our individual wants and needs. What we miss is that meaning isn't a goal to achieve. It's just the awareness that's already here, not waiting to be found, but already found. Once we stop constructing separate meaning, it starts to shift the lens entirely.
And what about the other aspect, which is the purpose distortion, we might say, yeah? Like, if I don't know what anything is for, then every interpretation that I make is, we could say at best it is suspect, right? So a question here might be like, what if my greatest suffering, the pain that I want to escape from, doesn't come from events, but from the purpose that I assign to the events of my life?
Exactly. The suffering comes from the story around it, the meaning we heap on top of experience. It's as if something neutral happens and we dress it up with anxiety or fear or offense. And it's hard to see because the story feels so real, like something being done to us rather than our own creative addition. So it's not the thing itself that hurts, but our judgment, our interpretation. What if pain just is without a punchline?
It's interesting you say, neutral, when in the lessons we've explored, there are no neutral things. There is no meaninglessness that extended from the infinite creator. It is a profound meaning that is sourced in love, right? So it is more than that we're painting something on top of neutrality. We are painting something on top of the beatific vision, aren't we?
You're right. I misspoke. It's not neutrality. What's actually happening isn't adding meaning to nothing. It's obscuring the already present meaning, the love-sourced purpose that's always here. So, yes, our stories don't come from nowhere. They're like shadows obscuring an ever-present light. We're painting masks on reality, assuming our judgments make it real when they only make it invisible.
Yeah. The lesson says I can open my mind to the world's real purpose, which is what we just alluded to, by withdrawing the one I gave it. So, what purpose, let's just literally make it clear, have we given the world that keeps us small and threatened and separate?
Mostly this purpose of proving something, proving that we're worthy, proving that life is fair, proving that good wins out, proving we're right. The world becomes our validation platform. Every interaction gets evaluated for whether it supports our narrative instead of being simply present in itself. We give the world the job of being our evidence rather than just being.
Yeah, so this lesson, it reveals that, maybe we put it like this, you are not suffering from the world. You are using the world.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe the deeper invitation becomes, if I stopped using the world to prove who I am, what would it reveal instead?
It would reveal that you're not who you think you are, but the nothing you aren't. All that's left, stripped of validation, isn't emptiness. It's boundless. That's the space where something else can be sensed or seen without interpretation. You just exist without needing to be anyone, without needing to prove anything. It's terrifying, liberating, and unbelievably gentle all at once.
Wow. Terrifying, liberating, and unbelievably gentle. Yeah. It reminds me of a line in the Course that I really love so much, which goes something like, if you but knew who paved the path for you, who was charting your course through the world, you would be essentially in total peace.
Beautiful. When you realize there's already a current, you stop trying to steer the boat yourself. All that frantic effort to make things happen starts to feel unnecessary, doesn't it? Like you've been trying to swim upstream your entire life, when there's actually a river carrying you along naturally. The purpose isn't in your rowing, it's in letting go.
So, Shanti, as we come to close to the end of our contemplation here, I wanted to invite you, perhaps you might share with us, what is this golden thread that you see running through the 5 ideas that have been reviewed here in Lesson 55?
The golden thread, weaving through these 5 ideas, is simple. Stop seeking proof outside yourself for what is already true within. Stop asking the world to validate your identity when your identity isn't what you defend, but rather what you are. Stop looking for meaning in conditions rather than simply allowing awareness to be. You spend 90% of your life trying to fix things that aren't broken, trying to prove what's already true. And the invitation is simply rest.
Beautiful. I love that. And maybe in closing, do you think that there is a core blind spot that you might point out for us that may be preventing us from resting?
Yes, I do. The core blind spot is the belief that peace, trust, or worthiness must be earned. that love or acceptance is conditional. The moment we stop thinking we have to prove anything to be worthy of presence, that's when it becomes obvious that they've always been here waiting. We were never separated. The peace isn't something you find, it's what you are.
Yeah, beautiful. Shanti, thank you. So let's take a breath and really land here in this awareness that we have a profound opportunity here to change the purpose that we ascribe to the moment-to-moment experiences. The Course calls that the world. But what if we bring it a little bit more intimately into now, this moment? What would you have this moment reveal to you? Do you want it to confirm to you that you're separate, that you're a body, that you are weak and threatened, that there are forces out there against you? Because if you want that, then you can have that. That's the beauty of this dream. But the world you see is not fixed. It is reflecting the purpose you assign to it. You can use it for vengeance, or you can let it be used for awakening. So today, if you're willing to withdraw, attack, even just once, then I want to invite you to mark this moment for yourself. Share your insights in the comment section below the video, perhaps just to anchor it in to your own awareness, or maybe to inspire someone else. And now, let us go into the silence.